The first FPL wildcard is looming on the horizon with quite a few fires to fight. Let's get this video to 1,000 likes and I will be responding to all comments. Hit that subscribe button, let's get into it. Like many, Game Week 4 wasn't kind to me. In the defence, there was no sign of any clean sheets. I was lucky to get players out with Harwood-Bellis benched and Barco, again, not giving me anything. Nick Pope did manage a 3-pointer with another save point, and I'm pretty happy with him as a pick, but a clean sheet wipeout late for Fulham was cruel. Rico Lewis only made it to 45 minutes and Trent managed to get himself booked. So 7 points from 4 players is not what you need from the defence. Into the attack and things weren't much better. Salah, my transfer in, blanked. I feel like I broke him. Eze, Crystal Palace got a penalty, but it was Mateta who took it. I did get an assist from Smith Rowe, but then Jota subbed on the 60-minute mark and ran off and managed to lose 2 points by being the wrong side of that 60-minute barrier. In the front line, Isak only managed 45 minutes. Muniz lost his place to Jimenez and found himself benched. I did captain my highest scoring player again in Haaland, who got a brace though. How good has he been this season? But yeah, no points really to help me on the bench if I needed them. I finished on 47 points for Game Week 4. That puts me on a red arrow, still inside the top 1.5 million though, with one free transfer, 0.1 million in the bank to play with. Now, before looking at my transfer plans, let's just note the midweek fixtures because there's a lot going on. We've got the first round of the new Champions League format. That sees Aston Villa against Young Boys away on Tuesday, Liverpool travelling to AC Milan also on Tuesday night. On Wednesday evening, Manchester City host Inter Milan at the Etihad. Arsenal with their fixture, that doesn't come until Thursday with a trip to Atalanta. So this expanded format has seen matches take place from Tuesday to Thursday, at least in this first round of the group games. As well as that, League Cup action spread across this midweek and next midweek. So those sides not involved in Europe that progress from the second round are here, plus sides that are in Europe that will be in Europa League action next midweek. So we've got Fulham away at Preston, Brentford at home to Leyton Orient, Crystal Palace away at QPR, Everton face Southampton, Manchester United host Barnsley. They're all on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday evening we've got Brighton against Wolves. Maybe we'll get an update on the availability of João Pedro. Spurs away at Coventry. So it's going to be a big week for information. Obviously, suspensions could come into play. We will see more injuries as a result of this game. We'll also get injury information for the likes of João Pedro and Saka. No midweek game for Alexander Isak. He doesn't play until next midweek, so we're not going to get an availability update on him. But it's just worth noting there that if you can hold on to your transfers until at least Friday, then I think that's going to be really powerful in terms of gaining more information. But obviously, if you've only got the exact funds and you need to go early, then by all means, go for it. Looking at my transfer plans then, and I'm in a bit of a pickle. First of all, we've got Muniz, who has lost his place now to Jimenez in the Fulham attack. Obviously, I'm not going to do anything yet because Fulham play in midweek in the League Cup. That could be a start for Muniz, and if he puts in a good performance, he could get his place back ahead of Newcastle at home. But at the moment, it's looking like he's going to be a bench player, which isn't very easy for me to deal with. He does feel like a transfer out. I've also got Rico Lewis, who isn't nailed on. I could be struggling to get 10 men out this week, and he's got Arsenal at home. So 2 big fires to fight. Ideally, I'm planning on playing a wild card in Game Week 6, and with that wild card in mind, I'd rather not use a transfer this week. It feels a bit pointless to spend a transfer when I could bank it when I'm going to change my whole team in Game Week 6. But I do need to weigh up about the Muniz situation. I could bring in Chris Wood, who's got Brighton away. Nottingham Forest in great form. Wood nailed on. I think he's a great pick looking at his underlying numbers. He is a 90-minute man now as well. Could also look at Crystal Palace's Nketiah, who was really impressive in game week 4 with his first start for Palace. He had 6 shots in the box in that game. But I do have Eze already, and I think Mateta's probably a better option than Nketiah, even though they were both playing the central striker role, vying for places in the middle of the park. So I have got options if I do want to swap Muniz out, but I would rather roll the transfer if I'm going to play the wild card in game week 6. The other thing I need to think about is, do I need to play the wild card sooner in game week 5 if I've got all these issues? Game week 6 is the play because you can dump Liverpool assets in favour of Arsenal. After they've got their game with City out the way, you could also beef up your City players. You could also look at bringing on Brentford players for their fixture swing. I am going to make a wildcard team later in the week and compare it to how close it would be to a wildcard 6 team and see whether I think it can outscore this team in game week 5, because that could accelerate me pressing the button. But at the moment, I want to hold firm and avoid having to make a transfer unless absolutely necessary. But it only takes 1 or 2 issues to pop up in all of those midweek fixtures for the pendulum to swing in favour of a game week 5 wildcard v a game week 6 wildcard, because my team's already looking weak around the edges as things stand. Team selection time then for game week 6, and I've got Nick Pope between the sticks against Fulham. Fulham, a side that I'm heavily invested in, but, you know, Pope's been great for me this season, so I'm still happy with him. Into the defence, and Liverpool with Bournemouth at home, I've got Trent in there. I've also got to start Lewis at home to Arsenal with Robinson at home to Newcastle. Harwood-Bellis on my bench with Ipswich at home. If Southampton go back to a back 5, then Harwood-Bellis could get the start and could start ahead of Lewis. We just don't know at the moment, so I may switch those around depending on what we see happen in the midweek football. Moving into the midfield, and I'm happy to have Salah and Jota for Bournemouth at home. Jota could lose his place soon. Hopefully I can get another game out of him in that number 9 role. And it's home comforts for everyone. Smith Rowe at home to Newcastle. Eze at home to Manchester United. Smith Rowe has delivered in every home game. Eze's underlying numbers are still great, so happy to start them. And then in the forward line, at the moment it's Muniz, but I do have Winks on my bench with Everton at home if it looks increasingly likely that Muniz has lost his place and I don't make a transfer. Isak away at Fulham, currently yellow flagged, but hopefully that will go before the game week 5 deadline. And then Haaland at home to Arsenal, a tough game, but on current form, I don't think we need to worry too much. Now, the other big decision this week is captaincy. Now, I brought Salah into my team for game week 4 in anticipation of having him to captain him against Bournemouth at home in game week 5 while Haaland faces Arsenal at home. But Haaland has been ridiculous this season. He scored 9 goals in the opening 4 games. No other team has scored 9 or more goals since the start of the season than Manchester City. So for Haaland to be on 9 of those 11 himself, it makes you think, should I just captain Haaland? I did move the captaincy to Salah when setting my bus team and then immediately got itchy feet with that. I just think Haaland, his underlying numbers is top for shots, shots in the box, shots on target, big chances and expected goals this season. He could easily score at home to Arsenal and it's a home game. But then Salah does have the edge with the Bournemouth fixture. He has got 3 double-digit hauls in 4, so I shouldn't overlook him either. I think the captaincy decision could go down to the wire. It could be heavily influenced by what happens midweek, who looks in better form, who gets the most minutes or who gets the least minutes. That could be an advantage there. I think, you know, another poor Liverpool performance will definitely give me cold feet with giving Salah the armband, because I think, you know, it's still very early days in the slot era and we need to see those big performances. So at the minute, captaincy is on Haaland, Salah vice. But that could change between now and Friday. A lot could happen in that time. Remember, I will be answering all comments on this video that come in today, so let me know down below what your dilemmas are going into FPL Game Week 5 and help me get this video to 1,000 likes. Subscribe as well if you've enjoyed this one, And be sure to check out the Game Week 5 episode of the FPL Green Room podcast. That's my new collab this season with Gianni Battici. Thank you for watching.